Welcome to the Locker Room podcast. I'm really delighted today to welcome a good friend of mine, ex-work colleague, and a bit of a legend when it comes to football in Ireland, ex-Irish international Terry Phelan. Just waiting for Terry to come on. I'm going to go straight into the conversation with him as soon as he comes on to his Zoom. He's in India at the moment, so he'll be dialing in from there, which will be kind of cool. I just want to mention before we start, our big thanks to our sponsors. So it's Ript.app, so RYPT, and Ript are a platform that connects coaches to their athletes and players and clients, helps you create individualized programs and work, and help to deliver them straight to your client through an app, so their own dedicated app. So all the exercise, all the exercise videos and advice gets sent straight to that individual's account on the app, where they can view their workouts, fill in the details, the reps, sets, loadings that they do in the gym, but also in terms of their training load monitoring and questionnaires and wellness questionnaires and all as well. So it's really, really brilliant service that the lads have got. It's a great tool for S&C coaches, so involved with teams or else in working with individual clients, and also for online clients, especially during this period as well. So we've started using it with Daily Sports Science. We've launched the online training where you can sign up for a month or 3 months, use the app with Ript, and then our dedicated S&C coaches can do personal training or S&C training then for that period. So it's a really great service. We're lucky as well at the moment. So the lads, Cormac and the lads at Ript, have offered 2 months free to all listeners, so they can head over to dailysportscience.com and sign up there through the products page, have a look at our blog page, information about our partnership with the lads at Ript, or also just go to ript.app, so rypt.app, and you'll see the information there. So that's 2 months free access to the brilliant service. We're delighted. They've been great. They're brilliant supporters for us, and we're looking forward to continued partnership.
Hello.
Terry.
Hello there.
How's it going?
It's going good. Thank you very much, Kat. Complain. How are you?
Great. You know, I was just thinking it's 5 years since I was in India and we were together there. 5
years. Wow. Where's the time gone?
I know.
5 years. 5 years.
2015.
2015. Yeah. Would have been August. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
We were just starting into the season soon, weren't we? In a couple of weeks' time with Kerala Blasters.
Yeah, I joined in the March. I was doing all my stuff the March, and we didn't start till the September.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then obviously the Kerala Blasters come in, didn't they? Because you would have come in a couple of. You would have come in a couple of months later.
Yeah.
You would have come in in September, wouldn't it? You would have come in.
Yeah, exactly. It was beginning of September, right at the beginning of September, and then the coaches and the players and the Peter Taylor and the gaffer and everyone was at that time. So yeah. So how are things?
All going well. I can't complain. You know, been busy now with obviously football starting up on the TV, Champions League and Europa League, and Serie A was obviously pre. So I did the Europa League last night, the game last night from home, obviously. So that went well, and obviously I left Kerala last year. Yeah. And then moved up to Bangalore because we're building a lovely big academy down there.
I saw it.
It's going on. It's on track. I mean, it could have been finished a lot earlier, but obviously this pandemic happened, didn't it? And it just threw it out. But what the owner did, he kept the sort of like the builders on site, paid them a little bit more extra just to keep the facility ongoing. So it was all good. It's not too bad actually. So
that's cool.
I'm okay. I've got a nice apartment here. So I will not complain.
You never do. What I've done, Terry, I've just pressed record because I think it'd be cool to have just a discussion and a chat and everything like that. I was before you came on, I was just introducing you briefly. legendary ex-Irish international, of course, and we'll get on to that about World Cup 94 especially, and a little bit about Big Jack and everything. But also, like, I was just looking through your stats as well, the different clubs you've been, like Leeds, Swansea, Wimbledon, Man City, Everton, Crystal Palace, Fulham, Chelsea, Sheffield United, and then also in America and New Zealand. So, and as well as everything with Ireland. So it's been quite a career.
Well, yeah, I mean that's the whole point of being a football player, isn't it? When you're a young boy kicking that ball around the streets of Salford, in the northwest of England on them cold, wet days, and you're out there just kicking the ball against a wall. You have your dreams, don't you? And your dreams are to be a football player. You know, your dreams are to be on telly one day, and your dreams are to put your international shirt on or play football. And obviously that's what life's about. And you know, if them dreams come true. I mean, I'm not really one for setting goals. To tell you the truth, I'm not really a goal setter. I have my dreams, and to tell you the truth, everything I've dreamt about is come true. So I can't really complain on that one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even though I've had more clubs than Jack Nicholson, so I'm all
right. I suppose where we could start is I met you with Kerala Blasters, so I was going over as a fitness coach 2015 after leaving QPR, and you were technical director, weren't you? So you were looking after the academy, and then you were due to come in with the first team in the Indian Super League, and then you were there for the first few months a little bit, and then obviously Peter Taylor left, and then you took over as manager for like the second half of that campaign, didn't you?
Well, to tell you the truth, it was a strange feeling because, you know, I was in there doing the technical director stuff with the grassroots and the youths, which was great. I really enjoyed it, travelling up and down Kerala, beautiful place, Kerala. Set 5 centres all the way through Kerala. Nothing had ever been done like that before. I had 1,000 students, 35 coaches. It was absolutely brilliant. I was loving it. You know, it was something new in it. It was a great challenge. And obviously, the Kerala Blasters were starting up then. Obviously, they had David James the year before. Why they changed, I don't know, because they actually did well. They got to the final. I don't know why they changed. Yeah. And obviously, they brought Peter Taylor, who had his own philosophy. And obviously, yourself was there, and Trevor Morgan, and a couple of other guys. And you know, it was interesting watching the games. You know, he had his own philosophy of how he played. You know, which is okay. I think he played a 5-3-2.
5-3-2,
with wing backs, which for me in the heat down in Kerala, it was an awful lot because they usually play with a simple back four over there. So, but anyway, I really enjoyed it. And then obviously, Peter leaves, and I only have a month. I only have a month to really cement what I want to do, and that really got taken out of my hands anyway. So I think I was just there as the name and the marquee coach, and that's what they wanted. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the fans. I enjoyed the nostalgia of going into the ground. You know, and that's part of football, isn't it?
Of course.
You know, and I think the first game I went in, and I had a meeting with the lads, and I spoke to them. You know, because they wanted speaking to in the right manner. And I think you was in the meeting, and I turned around and said to each and every one of them, look, you know, you've heard it all before. You're going to have 65,000 fans in that stadium. You're going to be playing against a team at the top of the league who's going for the championship. Just go out there and entertain me and entertain the fans. Just going out there. Don't bore me. Just entertain us. You know, and really have a good go of it. And they won that game 2-0, beat Pune. Pune ended up finished second, bottom of third, bottom that after that. They went free fall. I think David Platt was in as manager. Yeah. And I think, you know, and then we went on, and we lost a couple of games. But it was the teams in front of us who kept winning. Yeah. You know, we'd win, they'd win. You know, we'd draw, they'd draw, kind of thing. So we could never get that. You know, we could never make it up. Yeah. So I know. I really enjoyed it. You know, I would have loved to have taken the job on and really took it forward, because I know I could have done something.
Yeah, I remember that I was like in that first meeting, and I remember. Do you remember Sanchez Watt? So he was he was a brilliant young player for Arsenal.
Yes.
Broke into the first team a little bit, and then kind of strayed away. And your words to him, because Sanchez didn't get on that well with Peter Taylor, he couldn't identify with him, and your words to him were just go out and enjoy yourself. Just go out and enjoy your football and enjoy yourself.
Well, I said to him, and there's a couple of lads. I says, "Who's your favourite player in the world?" And he said, I think he said Neymar. I said, Neymar. I said, well, tonight, son, just go out and play like Neymar. Don't worry about running back. Pick the ball up in the end of the last to the the end of the middle to the final third, and just run at people. If you lose it, don't worry about losing it. We'll have people out there to pick the ball up, but we will give you the ball as much as you can. I think he scored that night. I think he went on and scored that night.
Yeah, he was
brilliant. I think he scored a bit of a scream. He had a wonderful left foot.
Yeah.
And what it is, it's about, you know yourself, Ciaran, it's about building the players up. You don't want to be knocked down, because he was always knocked down. He was under pressure. Yeah. And it's just talking to him. I remember little Joshua. I said to Joshua, and I think it was Victor. Was it Victor?
Yes.
Victor, two Spanish lads. Yeah. And I'm like, well, I've got two Spanish lads here. They should be utilised.
Yeah.
And I said to him, one grew up playing for Villarreal or Valencia, and one grew up in the Barcelona academy. Yeah. I said, lads, listen, give me a bit of that Barcelona flair, give me a bit of that Valencia flair. Just give me some flair and excitement. And they went out and done that, and it was absolutely brilliant. So I think as a coach, you've just got to build the players up, and you've got to put an arm around them, which they didn't really have. And it worked well that particular night.
Do you think you have to? Like, we spoke a lot at the time about just adapting your approach. Like, it's like you say about the 5-2-3-1. Maybe it just doesn't suit the environment, like the heat that was and the humidity out there, and also adapting to the type of players, like the modern player that you have who doesn't like being shouted at as much, who needs that arm around them, who needs to be like to build up their confidence. You need to adapt to each environment.
Of course you do. You have to adapt to each environment. You have to adapt to the changing room and what you've got in the changing room. That's the first thing, because you have got different. Don't forget, you've got different cultures and all in there. So each culture is different. In India, the cultures are different from state to state. So you have to adapt to that and all. And you have to love people. And I'm a believer in loving the players. Win, lose, or draw, you've still got to treat them as you want it to be treated. Yeah, them days have gone when you got a rollicking and a bollocking and all that. Like, you've just got to get on with them, and tell them the facts. Tell them straight. Don't lie to them. Don't tell them something you promise something and you can't achieve it. Yeah, you promise something, you've got to give it to them, and that's all I did really. And it was just a little bit too late for us. I think if we had another few more games, they could have done all right. And I think they had that belief and that confidence. But like you said, the heat in Kerala and in India at that time is very humid, very hot. The travelling and all. Yeah. I just don't think the players. I don't think we had the wing backs to do that. To tell you the truth, to do that type of roll up and down, up and down. Yeah. I think it's gone. Sorry.
I just remember that we were trying to convert some young Indian boys to be those wing backs, a specialist role. And if you remember back, technically they were okay, but tactically they'd never probably been coached before. They didn't properly coached, so they didn't know that particular role.
Well, listen, you've only got 3.5 months to work with the players. So, work with them what they know. Play whether you play a 4-4-2 or a 4-3-3, you keep your back four in tandem, nice, tight, organised. And to tell you the truth, I didn't see a lot of work on the back players. When I was there, I didn't really see a lot of work, which was very surprising, to tell you the truth. Yeah. For me. So you've also, sorry, Ciaran, you've also got to work with players and all, individually, collectively, have regular meetings with them, tell them what's going on. That's not just there, that's all over the world. And that's what I like doing with my staff. At this present time, I have my staff and giving them assignments every single day. They're on assignments every single day. So they can't rest on the laurels. They know they're going to get assignment and they have to finish that assignment at a certain time. Yeah. That's the only way you're going to get better.
Yeah, absolutely. I do remember, like, there was a few really good players. We had English lads like Chris Dagnall and Peter Ramage and lads that we would have got close to, you know, going around. But you still worked on them lads. There were still the expectations about, we'll be friendly, we'll have a bit of fun, we'll have a bit of crack, we'll have a drink after the game and good personal relationship. But at all stages, they knew they had to work hard. And I remember you on the pitch with them on the training pitch, working on their individual game. So they weren't under any illusion that they were here to work, weren't they?
Of course they was. I mean, listen, you in any walk of life, if any job you've got to work. You've got to put food on the table. It's not just going to come to you. Whether it's any sport, you've got to work to be the best. And it was just a little bit of a bridge too far for them. You know, I would have loved to have gone out morning and afternoon and worked on their individual stuff, you know, and the confidence and the collective stuff with them. But obviously it was only a short time span. But that's what they wanted. They wanted to learn all the time. As a player, you want to learn all the time. And when I was growing up and I got into first teams, you never learned a lot. You know, you never got a coach bringing you out and saying, hey, Terry, do you want to come out and do this? Or, hey, Terry, do you want to come out and do that? You never got it. They expected you to be a good player, but we all still wanted to learn, you know, and that was like the lads down there. Not just the foreign lads. The foreign lads were some fantastic foreign lads. Yeah. But the Indian boys was absolutely brilliant. We had some fantastic Indian boys in Ireland. Yeah. I still keep in touch with a lot of the Indian boys still to this day.
Yeah,
fantastic. Yeah,
through Instagram. It's the handiest way.
This is the new thing now. It's not going to that red phone box and phoning up, is it? And you've got a queue of 25,000 stood outside, and it's raining, and they're banging on the window. Hey, come on, hurry up! You've had your 5 minutes. You know?
Hey, the phone boxes in Ireland were green, Terry. They weren't red.
Well, there was red when I grew up. They may have been sprayed red. They might have been green.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, I was just speaking to my wife about it last night, Brenda. I was chatting to you today, and I was just saying that in my experience in Kerala Blasters in India, it was like in two halves. There was the first half, which was not it's enjoyable, let's say, but not the most enjoyable. And then the second half, where you came in as manager, and the football was so much more enjoyable, training was, but also our like relationship. We used to go, like I used to say to people, we'd go to Mumbai, fly into Mumbai, you'd train that day, you might train the next day, you'd have the game maybe the day after in the stadium, beautiful big stadium, and then you'd always have at least one day to go and just like free. So a lot of players would relax and chill out, and some of the other coaches would go to the bar, you know, and drink for the day or whatever it was. But myself and yourself, we always managed to get in around the city, explore the place, whether it was little tea houses or go to an old church or, you know, some bit of culture. It was a great experience in that sense, wasn't it? And I always thought that you were always open to that culture, that identifying with the local people.
I think it's brilliant. I identify with the local people to this day. I think it's absolutely fantastic. Well, listen, when you come into a different country, you've got to blend in with the culture and all. You've got to have open arms to the culture and the people, because we're all human beings. We've all got the same heart. We're no different. It's just that you've got to learn a little bit differently, and that's the whole point of traveling, getting that good knowledge. You know, I've travelled all over the world, and I'll probably still keep travelling. Yeah. You know, but for me, it was all about going out, not wasting the time. Not lying in the bedroom, you know, going out, seeing what's about the city. If it was in Chennai, going, having a look at the beach, seeing what's in the city, you know, having a look at the local shops, having a look at the local food markets. And that's what it was all about. I remember we went to the North East, and me and you and a couple of the lads, we went walking for 2, 3, 4 hours. Yeah. And we went up into the hills, and you know, we've seen these little villages and you know, little houses. And people living just so homely and just, you know, just living their lives and being happy. And I remember a young little boy, and the hill must have been about 1.5 to 2 miles long, the hill. Yeah. And I remember we was walking up and he was coming down, And then when we was coming down, he was coming up with 2 barrels of water. And I remember that. And the mums and a cleaner at the top. And that just tells you about being different and seeing different cultures and different lives. And it brings a little bit self respect to your own self, that don't rest on your laurels, because there's always somebody off who hasn't got as much as you. But they're enjoying it, and that boy, probably enjoyed going up and down in that outfit. That's what I mean, Ciaran. It was all about the culture for me. To this day, now I still browse about. I know times are a little bit difficult, but even now I still have a browse about, going to the little antique shop, speak to people on the corner. Obviously we've got our masks on and we've got social distancing and all, so that's very important at this present time.
And when it's like when you say about going into little villages, these are little mud hut villages, aren't they? It's not like, you can't think of it being like in Britain or in Ireland, and it's different. It's little small little houses out in the countryside, and I remember that they nestled in the forest.
It's like this: when you come when you come from a big city, Manchester, Liverpool, London, wherever, and you go over to Ireland and you skip Dublin, you skip the big cities, and you go into the little villages, the little thatched houses, aren't they? They are, aren't they? They're completely different. They're small, the little thatched houses. So, we still have culture. And over in India, there's all different types of culture. You go into the backwaters of Kerala, you go into the northeast, there's all different cultures. Obviously, I'm in Bangalore at this present time, and it's a built-up city. But if you go outside of Bangalore, you've still got these wonderful little villages about, where everything's just so simple. And they get on with their life, and that's what I like, you see. And it keeps you grounded. It keeps you grounded. It keeps you humble. And I like that. I really enjoy that.
Yeah. Why did you choose India? And like, why are you there now? Is it you think of India as a long-term project, or is it the next step on to somewhere else? Or like, what is it about India that you love so much?
Well, I left New Zealand in 2009, and I first landed in India. I only come over for a week to look at a project in Goa. And then I went back to New Zealand, and I come over 2010. And, I was at Goa as the chief mentor, and it wasn't easy. It was tough old times, but you have to, you have to find a way of getting over that wall. If you can't get over it, you have to get underneath it. If you can't get underneath it, you have to try and go around it. And it was difficult because there was no one else. I was the only foreigner there, but the people was absolutely fantastic, open arms. And, you try to improve the philosophy. You try to improve the mentality. You try to improve the football philosophy and all. And you try and give them a little bit of your culture of where you've come from. Not to say you'd go in there and change it. And I enjoyed it. But I always said I'd love to come back to India. And obviously, the Kerala Blasters was talking to me 2014. And I never hesitated. I said, let me go over. Let me do my bit. Let me work hard. And I'd heard about Kerala anyway. And I said, let me have a good go of it. And, I'm doing a lot of TV work with Sony Sports India. Yeah. And I've never looked back. I'd love to settle over there and live over there for the rest of my life. Yeah. It wouldn't really bother me. I've met some amazing people, some amazing friends. So, yeah, if this project, what we're doing now at South United FC in Bangalore, this is going to be a big project, and it's not a short-term project. This is a long-term project. So, I'm not thinking about moving anywhere else at the moment.
Yeah, that's cool. I always remember during that season where you'd have the big games with Kerala Blasters first team, and the bit of pressure to win games, and the big stadiums, and the good and the bad in that. And then every so often I'd pop down with yourself down to the training pitch with the little kids, and it was on it. I'll never forget, it was a 3G pitch, and it was so hot. The AstroTurf was so hot because of the heat and humidity. Yeah. But the kids they were brilliant, weren't they? They were just good. Like, must have been 50 or 60 or 80 kids, and they were mad to get pictures taken with the Kerala Blasters. But they were lovely. It was a great experience, I have to say. Really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, what I was doing, I was doing 2 jobs really. Yeah. Also, I was traveling. I dealt with the training with the first team, and then as soon as I'd done the training, would go back and have lunch, and then I'd be starting my sessions with the grassroots programs with me, all the students coming in there, and I'd probably be on the field another 4 to 5 hours, and I'd already done a session in one. But that's for me, it's about life. It's just about enjoying it, and if you enjoy something and you work hard, you do get the rewards. I believe, and I'm still here, and I love it. I still speak to people in Kerala. I've been invited to numerous weddings down in Kerala. Obviously, with this pandemic hanging about, we can't travel too much. So, I mean, for me, you've got a great attitude over there for the students. They want to play. They want to learn. Yeah. I just don't think coaches are given enough time, though. To cement their long-term views and values of what they really want to do.
Yeah. And a big part of your job was actually taking those kids and introducing them to proper coaching, wasn't it? Because a lot of these kids, like they're coming from tough backgrounds, very poor areas, some of them, not all. And your job was trying to develop them, but also develop the coaches. And I really liked how some of the coaches were really open. They were asking me about S&C and warm-ups and fitness stuff and long-term athletic development. And it was great to see.
Yeah, I think that's what you bring, isn't it? Listen, they had some fantastic knowledge and all. I learned an awful lot down there, and I'm still. I do hope one day that all the ISL teams have Indian coaches as head coaches. That'd make it for me, and all the teams are all Indian players and all. Because that's my job. What I'm trying to do at the moment, and that'll help the Indian national side and all to be bigger and better and go further and hopefully get into a World Cup. But we are starting now with the U16. We have got a group of U16 boys over in India doing very well, and them age groups are doing very well. But like you said, Ciaran, coaches was always open, just for the finer details. I don't think if you give them too much, it wouldn't probably sink in. So we did things nice and easy with them. We did it in blocks. We set a program up for them, which was nice and easy. The training blocks we set up for them was fantastic. And to tell you the truth, I never had no problem with the coaches. The work was done. It was exciting to work with. When I was in Kerala, like I said, I had maybe 25, 30 coaches. And I used to do travelling from Calicut right down to Trivandrum. And that's a 10-hour drive. There's no flying. It's a 10-hour drive. So I'd be up at 1 o'clock in the morning. I'd sleep all day on a Thursday. I'd be up at 1 o'clock in the morning and I'd do my travelling. But I enjoyed it. Listen, I'm not going to complain and moan. It's part and parcel of life and football. And I really enjoyed it. You see me enthusiasm now.
I know. Terry, I was still up in the bar, at the hotel bar at 2 or 3 in the morning. You were getting up for your flight to head off to Trivandrum or Calicut or somewhere like that.
Well, I was actually, I used to order a car at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Right. Yeah.
And, they'd sort some breakfast out for me. I'd jump in the car and I'd go up to Calicut, and it was probably, Calicut about 4.5, 5 hour drives. Something like that, if I'm right.
On dodgy roads, like not.
Well, I mean, it wasn't the M25 or anything like that, or the M1. But it was, you know what, Ciaran? It was enjoyable. It was enjoyable. It was part of the culture and seeing. And every now and again, I used to stop off when I was coming back. I've seen a group of boys. They'd have Kerala Blasters shirts on. And I used to drop off. And I used to drop on the field and have a kick about them, and they'd be like, oh no, have a kick about it. So it made their day and all. And that little bit just might have inspired them a little bit more to go, hang on a minute, Sir's here. Oh, let's show them what we can do. You never know. And that's what I used to do. And it was beautiful. And, I'm still in India now with this great experience. Still
doing it. The last thing before we move on from India, that I suppose that's the beauty of the marquee manager and marquee player. Like, remember when we were there and we were having dinner with Nicholas Anelka and Materazzi was there, Malouda, Roberto Carlos. I suppose they do need it now at the moment just to inspire the young players and inspire the coaches. And then at some stage, move on from that and just hopefully, as you say, have the Indian coaches and the Indian marquee players.
Yeah, sure, you sure do. But there's got to be a time now where you've got to have trust. Yeah. And all you've got to have trust in on what you've got, and it's no use just developing all the Indian coaches to the top level if they can't get top jobs. It's a waste of time, because then they lose their enthusiasm and motivation. Yeah. We want to keep them motivated. We want to keep the enthusiasm going, and that's what the All Indian Football Federation are doing at this present time. They're working ever so hard, to motivate and get the coaches to go. Don't forget, India's a fast place. It's a big place, and we're trying to get round and coach everybody, So for me, there will be a time, and I'll wave my hand and say, and I'll clap my hands. I'll go, thank you very much. Let's bring it on now, and I'm sure it will happen soon. Yes, like you says, you do need big name coaches in, but a lot of coaches have come in and they haven't really had the chance to develop. They've only had 3 or 4 months. You can't build a team in 3 or 4 months, 5 months. So when the league was very short, it was all about luck and all. It was about luck, and if you felt short, you felt short. So for me, there've been some quality players over there. They come and go like everywhere else, United States of America. And I think it does really build the game up and all, and it builds this supporters up and the expectations and the grassroots level, and the coaches want to see these superstars what they've seen on TV. So I'm sure they'll still keep going, but maybe in time we start introducing that lovely philosophy of the Indian coach coming in and maybe taking an ISL team. Hopefully that happens further down the line.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, people. Yeah, go on, Terry.
I mean, I work with my coaches all the time. I've got a Spanish coach, and all my other coaches are Indian coaches, and they're absolutely fantastic. They want to gain that knowledge. They want to learn. We all started somewhere. Yeah. But we've got to learn, and we've got to grow, and we've got to mature with each other, and that's what we're trying to do at the moment.
Yeah. Something that people don't quite realize is how big India is. It's only, I think, when you're there, you realize that it's like a continent on its own. It's not like a country, and all the different states, like Kerala is so different than Delhi. It's like a different continent in some ways. And as you say, the cultures between up in the far northeast versus, around Chennai region or Goa region. And it's completely different. And the thing that I liked was that, let's say Roberto Carlos comes in for 4 months and he does his thing and it's great, but you've invested into the country. And like, I remember us having loads of discussions about putting in a proper philosophy, and that's what you did, a proper philosophy and coaching and training and kids and blocks of development. And it was like, I mean, as good as any academy program that you'd see in the UK, for instance.
Yeah, and this is why they bring you in. You're not coming in on a holiday. You're not coming in, just to lie on the beaches. I don't think I lied on the beach in the 4 years, to tell you the truth. But it was about coming in and going, okay, then where we're going to start, but not doing it too quickly, Ciaran. Where we're going to start. What coaches am I working with? Getting knowledge of them. What are they looking to find out? What are they looking to learn? And then the players, what type of players have I got? What's the mentality of the players? And we built it up slowly. And I put a lovely program together down in Kerala, and it was absolutely fantastic. But I was only there for a year, and then I changed into another role within the Kerala Blasters. Then I changed into another role. So, but I kept the same philosophy going, and I'll keep the same philosophy here in Bangalore and all. Yeah, that's my philosophy. Listen, it can be adapted. Of course it can. But you've got to have it done and dusted, and it's got to be cemented, especially for the coaches, because the coaches need to know where they're going and what they're doing. It's no use doing 15,000 different drills in a week, because the children and the students won't learn that way. You do it in blocks, 6-week blocks, and then weekly blocks, 6-week blocks. And that's an easy way. It's an easy format to be able to do it for the coaches and for the students and all, and for the coaches to be able to pick up. So, and I'll probably still do the same here and all.
Yeah, it's the right way of planning, isn't it? For any young coach out there who's looking to develop within their team. Splitting the season up into 6 weeks blocks gives a nice kind of easy way to plan through the season and develop from attacking and a defensive, whatever way you split up your blocks.
Yeah. I mean, it's simple. I mean, if we had defending blocks, we'd do defending blocks for 6 weeks, and then during the week, if it was dribbling, then we'd have dribbling for that 1 week. It's no use doing dribbling, tackling, shooting, heading, all mixed up together, because you lose it in one session. And doing that, because the children don't learn. And then what you obviously what we want to do then is at the end of the week, when they come into the games, is bring in what we've learned in the training, and what block we're on, is bring it into the training. So if we're looking at playing out from the back, okay, if that's one of the blocks, well, we want that actually in the game, playing out from the back, because that's our philosophy on the training blocks.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, cool. So Terry, you started off as a youth player in Leeds. I know
Leeds.
You've told me plenty of stories down through the years of the path. But it's a really interesting path where you were with Leeds and then went down the divisions a little bit to Swansea and then back up with Wimbledon. Leeds was your original kind of team.
Well, listen, I probably had more teams knocking on my mother's house than there probably was in the Premiership. As a young 12-year-old, I had teams like Everton, Manchester United, Manchester City, obviously Leeds, Oldham. I mean Coventry, Birmingham, you name it. I had Tottenham Hotspurs, Arsenal. And what for me it was about. I'm living in Manchester. Manchester City offered me a 4-year contract at 12 years of age.
Right.
4-year contract at 12 years of age. Manchester United, 4-year contract at 12 years of age. So I must have had a little bit of talent and they must have seen something in me. But my biggest fear was Manchester United, Manchester City, big clubs, obviously, in Manchester, and your Liverpools and your Evertons, big clubs, playing in the top division at that time. Would I really get a game? You're only 12, 13 years of age.
Yeah.
To tell you the truth. So when Leeds come in, I remember Alan Clark coming up to the house, and he was talking to me mum. My mum's like, this chap's 6'2" or 6'3". My mum's only my size, and she's looking up. She didn't have a clue who he was. All she did, I think my mum had more boxes of chocolates and more flowers brought to the house in 6 months than Marks and Spencer's had, to tell you the truth. But it was brilliant. And listen, the reason I went to Leeds was age inside, in the second division, massive club. And I remember going up for a trial, and he said, look, Terry, come up for a trial. I went up for a few trials, and I remember playing on Ellen Road. I was probably 13, 14 years of age. About 13 years of age I was, I believe, just turned 13. So we went up for a trial, and I remember picking a ball up on the left-hand side, cutting inside, and having a shot 30 yards. It went in the top corner. I think that cemented me staying at Leeds then. And I think it reminded that Alan Clark, Eddie Gray was watching, Frank Gray. They had all these top world-class players of the day watching in the stands. And seeing this little skinny lad getting the ball and smashing it. And I never looked back from then. I never looked back from that day. So I had a little belief in my own ability.
Yeah.
I didn't get no coaching. I coached myself on the streets.
Yeah.
If we played at school, it was the school teachers.
Yeah.
We didn't get no proper coaching. You know what it was, Ciaran? It was the hunger, desire, commitment, focus, and having a good attitude of mind.
Yeah. I used to tell my brothers after being in India that we used to be doing fitness runs with some of the players, some of the rehab players I used to be doing on the sideline. Remember Peter Carvalho from Goa and doing some runs with him. And then you'd step in with us and then we'd putting both of us to shame. Myself and Peter, we tried to keep up with you, hair up and down the field. So you had that natural kind of athleticism.
I think it was, natural athleticism, but you have to have the desire and all to want to go and do it. You have to go in and the reason I jumped in them particular ones is just to give the boys that motivation. Well, look who's running beside us. If he can do it, we can do it. And that's what brought me from, obviously, at Leeds United. I played in the reserve team. I think it was just turning 15 when I played. I played about 30 minutes in the reserve team against Wolves down in Molineux, and Big George Berry was playing centre back, and I'm playing left wing, and I'm running up and down. I think Terry a bit played in that game. There was a few of them played, and Big George Berry turned around and said to me, "Hey, wee man, will you stop running up and down that wing, because you're killing us older guys here." But it was brilliant. And I remember Eddie Gray, I think it was Eddie Gray, yeah. I remember Eddie Gray turned around and said, "Wee man, are you ready to go on? Yeah. Go on, go and show them what you're made of." Yeah, and it was absolutely brilliant. So coming through the Leeds ranks was a wonderful time. Playing in the first team was a wonderful time. Making me debut. But don't forget, I was starting my career into the Irish youth teams and all. Yeah. My pathway to the Irish youth team. So we had some fantastic players playing for Leeds who was Irishmen and all. So, and it was great. Unfortunately, a new manager comes in, Ciaran, as we all know. Yeah. I remember Billy Brenner coming in, God rest his soul, and he says, "Listen, you're too small." Yeah. I said, "But Gaffer, you played in the Great Leeds side, and you played in midfield, and you know, I'm bigger than you." Yeah. You know, he said, "Oh, you're too small for him to be a defender." I said, "Well, put me on the wing then." Yeah. Put me on the wing, and obviously that didn't work out. And I decided then, I went home. I didn't even tell my mum that I'd been released. She said, "How come you're home? How come you're home so long?" I said, "I'm just on an extended holiday," because I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed. Yeah. You know, I thought I'd let everybody down. Yeah. And I never done nothing. And going back home and going into my bedroom again and thinking, wow, is that it? Is it over for me? You know, and I pulled along for 6 weeks, and I get a phone call of a few clubs, and so I had Alan Clark, Eddie Gray, Billy Brenner, all ex-Leeds United players who was my managers. Yeah. And then I had a phone call from Terry Phelan, and he went, "Look, this is Terry Phelan here. Would you like to come down to..." I didn't have an agent that time. There was no agent. No. Through a friend. "Would you like to come down to Swansea? It's a lovely part of the world, Swansea. It's sunny, the weather's great, it's got beautiful beaches on the Mumbles." I'm thinking, oh, it must be the Mediterranean then. I never heard of Swansea before in my life. No disrespect to any of the Welsh guys, because beautiful people down there. Yeah. And I looked on the map and I thought, oh yeah, it's got beaches and that. Oh, fantastic. I like down there. I had no hesitation. It was him, Tommy Hutchinson. Tommy Hutchinson was the old Manchester City winger. Tommy Hutchinson, Scottish lad, absolutely fantastic player. And I went down and I signed a year, and it was the best time of my life. Yeah. It was just a breath of fresh air. I played 42 games that season. I missed one game through suspension, plus cup games in that. And it was absolutely brilliant. I signed 2-year contracts. I finished the year, then they give me another 2 years. And I thought, this is brilliant. This is just what I need. I'm away from everything. I'm playing some fantastic football. Yeah. You know, I'm enjoying life. The crowd are absolutely brilliant. I'm getting them on the balls of the feet and off the seats. And I come back for pre-season, Ciaran, and Terry off says, "Listen, I've got some bad news for you." I says, "What?" He says, "Well, you've just signed a 2-year contract 6 weeks ago." I said, "Yeah." I said, "Are you taking it off me?" He went, "Oh, no, son." He said, "But we've got some news for you." I said, "What's the news?" He went, You're going playing for Wimbledon." I said, "What?" I said, "Wimbledon." I said, "But Terry, I don't play tennis." Yeah. He says, "No, they've got a football." He said, "No, they've got a football team. Bobby Gould's there." I said, "Please." I said, I'm happy here." He says, "No, this will be good for you. They've come in with 90,000, 100,000 pound fee. They got me for nothing." And it was just at the right time, because they needed to help Swansea and all. Yeah. And I said, "Yeah, no problem." And to be fair to Terry, he looked after me and all financially. Yeah. He really looked after me. So if he ever watches this video, please, Terry, thank you very much for everything you did for me. And it was him who really set me on my pathway. Yeah, that's brilliant. So you ended up with the Crazy Gang. Yes. And in an FA Cup final in 1988. Famous FA Cup final. Yeah, I mean, listen, coming from a little town like Swansea, on the Mumbles there, and then you know, heading up to the smoke into London, southwest London. Wow, And I'm like, I'm out with debt fare. I'm out with debt fare. And I remember staying in a little bed and breakfast, not these 5-star hotels. It was bed and breakfast. Stayed in a bed and breakfast, and they said, look, come to the ground the next day. So I went to the ground, and I'm going, where's the ground like? You know, Swansea had a decent ground. Leeds, Ellen Road's like, you've been there enough times.
Yeah.
Thinking, where's this ground? And I was asking people, you know where Plough Lane is? He said, yeah, Plough Lane's there. I said, where's the football ground? He said, there. I said, where? He said, there. I said, what? I said, no disrespect to any of the Wimbledon players or any of the Wimbledon supporters. But for me, it was totally new, So I walked round and I'm like, where's the offices? Well, it was porter cabins.
Jeez, yeah.
And I'm sat in the porter cabin for about 3 hours.
Mm.
And they said, oh, they'll be out. I think it was only testing me, Ciaran, then testing me resolve and my nerve and what I was like. And then Bobby Gill come after about 3 hours. Oh, welcome, Terry. He said, how long have you been here? I said, 3 hours. He went, oh, welcome to the crazy gang then. That's why we're crazy. So anyway, I got on with it. The first 6 months was very difficult because I didn't know whether I was coming or going. The fun, what the lads was happening and doing in the changing rooms. You go into your changing room, if you wore anything which was expensive, that was cut up because they wanted to keep you. They wanted to keep you grounded.
Yeah.
If you wore anything nice, that was cut up because they wanted to keep you grounded. So I used to just go in a tracksuit.
Yeah.
I used to go in a track. I never used to wear anything flash. I used to go in the knot. So nothing ever got cut up of mine.
Yeah.
So it was all right.
Yeah.
The other thing was I'd played for Leeds United, and I remember Vinnie Jones coming up to me and going, all right, Tel. And Vinnie was a great lad. I said, yeah, I'm fine. He went, I know you're struggling a little bit, but you'll get there. You will get there. You'll get to know us well. You'll get to know the family, and the family will get you in. Yeah. I said, right. And he went, well, where have you come from? I said, I was at Swansea, and I was at Leeds United. He went, what? Leeds United? You play for Leeds United? I said, yeah, I play for Leeds United. He went, never. I went, oh, yeah, I did. I played 20-odd games for Leeds United. Absolutely fantastic. He went, really? I went, yeah, really. And he went, well, have you got a nickname like? And I'm like, nickname? What's my nickname? Nickname? I'm like, nickname. I think, yeah, Philo. So I'm like, Philo. He went, right, your nickname's Philo. He put his arm around me. And then I knew that I was arriving in the family. I really knew I was arriving in the family. And that's when I started to change. And I remember playing a game against Newcastle because I was struggling a little bit, Ciaran, because they played a different style. Yeah. I could play, but he played a different style. They wanted the ball faded in here and faded in there. Whereas I was used to getting it, passing it,
carrying it,
from the back, carrying it, running with it, building up from the back, playing through midfield. Nothing new from what we don't do today.
I know. It's the modern game, isn't it?
We talk about that modern fullback. I was doing it 30-odd years ago. So I don't know what people are on about. We must get rid of that. The modern fullback can't defend. That's the only problem.
Yeah.
And I remember playing against Newcastle, and I thought, right, I'm just taking the shackles off. I'm taking them reins off, and I'm going for it. And I went for it, and I went to the change room, and the lads, they just all crowded round me and just started throwing me up in the air and said, welcome to the family. Yeah, and I never looked back from then. I never ever looked back from then. Powerful. It was a powerful team, a powerful unit in the mind and in the body and all. Yeah. And I think that's what galvanised me to where I am to this day now. Yeah.
Because I was going to ask you about that because I did put it out on Twitter last night to people, and I said, anybody have any questions for Terry? I'm going to be chatting to him tomorrow and everything. And a good friend of mine, Derek O'Reilly, asked about that. It must have been difficult, especially at the beginning, because they were such a tight unit and they were a bit crazy and they did crazy stuff. It must have been difficult for people entering into that fresh and new. And were there people who maybe fell by the wayside, that some people maybe weren't strong enough or mentally strong enough?
Listen, I seen a few players cry, put it that way.
Yeah.
And I mean, the baptism of fire, when you first signed, they had a ritual, and you never knew what the ritual was. I mean, it could be anything. And if you didn't do it, obviously, me being me, I got away with it somehow. I don't know how I got away with it. I must have had a halo on me, or something must have been around me, or a spirit must have been around me to say, listen, leave leave this lad alone. You know, he's a good lad. So, and I was a quiet lad. I was a very humble lad. And I think that's what they liked. I didn't come in there giving it big time Charlie because I played for Leeds and Swansea. I was very humble. Didn't say a lot. I just got on with my training. And that's what they liked. But I've seen some players come in and melt. I've seen some players melt, you know. And I'm on about when the old rear guard was there. Vinnie Jones, John Fashanu, Dennis Wise, Dave Besson, Brian Gale, Andy Thorne, Alan Clark, little Terry Gibson come in. Eric Young was there. You know, Johnny Gannon, Andy Sayer. I'm on about Wally Downs, the real crazy gang, by the way. The real crazy gang. So, I like I said, that game, I never looked back. And, you know, what we did and how we played against teams, it was like we were solid. We could never be beaten. We had no fear. You know, we could climb mountains and jump off mountains. And every game, Ciaran, you put your life on the line. For it. You put every ounce of energy into it. No one liked us. We didn't care.
But and I mean, a famous win to win the FA Cup then in '88 against Liverpool, wasn't it? 1-0.
Yes.
Against Liverpool, So a bit. I mean, obviously, it'd be hard to imagine a team like Wimbledon or you know, MK Dons or whatever you want to say nowadays to go on and win an FA Cup. It's like the top 4 teams have kind of sewn up all those competitions, haven't they? If it's not Arsenal, it's United. If it's not, it's Chelsea, it's Man City. So it must have been a massive thing at that time.
Well, people said we was underdogs, and you know, we sat in the dressing room and said we're not underdogs. You know, we finished 7th, 6th or 7th in the old league then. You know, so we'd had a taste of victory, and we'd lost games, we won games, but it was about, you know, it wasn't how we won the games. It was just about winning the games. That's what counted for us. And when we played in 1988 against Liverpool, champions of England, you know, if they would have been in Europe, they would have conquered Europe for years and years and years and years. What a fantastic team. And we come up against them. And I remember Bobby Gould and Donald, God bless his soul, he turned around and says, lads, well, we'll have a meeting, but we want you to go out and relax. Be in for 12 o'clock. You can go anywhere you want, but please be in for 12 o'clock. Go out, have a couple of wines or a couple of shandies or a couple of Guinnesses, but make sure you're in for 12 o'clock. But you'd all stick together. There's no dribs and drabs. So we went into Wimbledon and, you know, played pool, played darts, you know, had a couple of wines just to ease ourselves into it. Got back to the hotel, got up in the morning, it's game day. And don't forget, I'd watched this when I was a young boy. I was only 21 years of age. You know, when I was 7, 8, 9, 10, that was my dream, to play on the old Wembley. And I get goose pimples now, Ciaran, and the old Wembley was a fantastic place. Fantastic place. Great nostalgia. 100,000 people there. And we're building up for the game. And I remember Eric Young saying to me, what score do you think it'll be today, Philo? And I went, I don't know. He went, what do you think about 5-0 to them? And I burst out laughing. I said, maybe it is, Eric, but you know what we're going to do? We're going to go down, we're going to enjoy every second, every minute, every hour. That's what we're going to do. We're going to really enjoy it and have some good fun. He went, yes, Philo, that's the character we want. You know? So there was no fear. Got into that tunnel, and you know, I'm looking around and I'm seeing Vinny's going at it, John Fashu's going at it, Little Wisey's going at it, Corky's going at it, you know, and people said we won the game in the tunnel. I don't believe that. I believe we won the game with Vinnie Jones's tackle on Steve McMahon at that time. You know, they didn't have a lot of chances. You know, we had one chance and it went in the back of the net. Like I says, you know, it's not how you win the game. It's just about winning the game. And we was great at set plays. And obviously, you know, I get the free kick down in the bottom corner, left-hand corner. Wisey with that beautiful right foot of his, bang. Sanchez glides it in the back of the net. Grobbler's got no chance. Obviously, Dave Besson saves a penalty. But for me, it was just that emotion of meeting Princess Di and actually being on Wembley at 21 years of age. And saying to myself, wow, I watched the 1976 FA Cup, 77, 78, 79, 80, all the FA Cups. I'd never missed an FA Cup. And this day, I'm actually playing on it. I don't know if players take it for granted now.
Well, I suppose
I don't know if they take it for granted.
Yeah, I suppose players are living in a slightly different world, aren't they? They're kind of boxed away from normal life a little bit more, whereas back then you were still just a normal fella, you know, who could play football and dreaming about playing at Wembley. Like for players now, I don't know, does it matter as much to play at Wembley and stuff like that? I mean, the new Wembley is different anyway than the old Wembley, which had such history.
I think if the old Wembley was there, a lot more players would have a little bit more about it, to tell you the truth. Obviously, but listen, times change. You have to go with it. I'm not saying go with the flow, because fish go with the flow. Be a salmon and go against the flow. You know? So, you know, at the end of the day, you know, like I said, times change and new things come in. But for me, it was just playing on that Wembley turf. In between the Twin Towers, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, definitely. Was it a big thing then to go back? Like, did you see going to Man City as a step up or a step sideways? And what was it like going back to Manchester?
Well, to tell you the truth, I mean, I'd done my rounds, Leeds, big club Leeds, obviously Swansea in the 4th division, and then coming to Wimbledon. I'd been at Wimbledon 5 years. You know, I think I'd worked hard. I'd given them back every ounce of the money what they paid Swansea for me, and I really enjoyed it. But it was time to leave. You know when it's time to leave. You know when you start getting a little bit rusty. You know, your motivation goes just that a little bit stale, and it's you're thinking, well, I think it's time now. And Barcelona come in, Ajax come in, Everton come in, Celtic come in, Tottenham Hotspurs come in, Bolton come in. But Wimbledon wanted £2.5 million. Sam Hammam wanted £2.5 million. And for me, I had countless meetings where I said, Sam, it's too much, please. You know, I had a meeting with Manchester United, Brian Robson. He says, we've got £1.5 million on the table. Get back down to London. Tell them we'll give you £1.5 million now. I'm saying, look, there's £1.5 million there. And Sam's like, no, we want £2.5 million. I said, Sam, you're going to... what am I going to do? You know, and I was a bit panicked and that. And then I spoke to Terry Phelan at Spurs. We had a meeting with him, and he said, "Look, we've got £1.5 million there. It's on the table." And I think Liam Brady had £2.5 million, or £2.5 million. Oh no, he had £1.5 million. Sorry, I'm lying there, Ciaran. He had £1.5 million. He said, "Why don't you come up to Celtic? We've got one." And a lot of the clubs only could go to £1.5 million. And to be fair, Peter Reid was building a new team. He just got the job. He was a player manager. He was wanting to build a new team. He had a blueprint with what he was doing. We met him. He said, "Look, we're going to give £2.5 million for you, Tel. I know what you can do. I've seen you since you broke it into the Leeds team. We're very excited to have you here." And I went, right then, Manchester City is a big club. You know, I'm going back to Manchester. I would have preferred to have stayed in London or maybe go to Barcelona. They put £1.5 million bid in, but Johan Cruyff wasn't going to be out pay that type of money, which would be fair enough.
That would have been an interesting one, Terry, over in Barcelona.
Well, I would have been speaking Spanish now, wouldn't I? That's the main thing. But no, I would have loved it. I would have gone into the culture, adapted like you adapt. But yeah, I enjoyed it at Manchester City, and you know, Peter sat us down with Peter Swells. He said, "Look, this is what we want. These are the players what we want, and this is where we're going." I'm like, sign on the dotted line there and then.
I'm interested as well about, because you were with Chelsea as well and Everton. Like, is there any club that, I don't know, you particularly jumps out at you that you enjoyed the most, at the atmosphere around the club or the people? What do you reckon?
Listen, every club had its different atmospheres and different people. I enjoyed every club. It was football for me, and I can't really pick a club what I enjoyed more than any other, because there was all different parts of my life. Like you know, Leeds United, that's where I started. It's still in my heart. Leeds, Swansea, that give me the bigger push from Terry Phelan. They'll always be there. So there was they've all got a little piece of me heart, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
I think Wimbledon, because it was unique, you know, being there 5 years, winning a trophy there. So I'd say Wimbledon because of the way it was and how it was run. And, you know, Stanley Reid used to come in and he used to sing, the chairman, the owner, Sam Haman, used to sing in there, you know, and after we won a game, even when we lost the game, he'd still come in and sing. So, you know, and Bobby Gould Bob would dance about every now and again. Don Howe was brilliant. But then we've seen a change of managers. And when I went to Man City, I thought, right, this is it now. Can I stay here for the rest of my life? I just want to stay here. I don't want to do no moving about. I'm settled now. Peter Reid gets fired after the first year I'm there. And then it starts, the old rigmarole starts. Ongoings upstairs. Is the chairman staying? Is he not staying? Is somebody else trying to take over? And you know what it does? It rocks the ship, doesn't it? Yeah. And, you know, and players start going down with the oars, don't they? They stop rowing a little bit because they don't see any light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah. And you know, you're paddling and you're paddling. And you're trying to throw the water out of the boat, but the water keeps coming back. The water keeps coming back in. So Peter Reid went. That was sad. That was sad for me when he went.
Yeah. It's interesting because a lot of people, they see the footballer and they think, okay, you go from club to club and just assimilate into each different club and everything. But they forget that kind of human story behind it, whereby it's like you said, you were very settled in Swansea and enjoyed the kind of quieter life and you were enjoying the football. And especially back then, because the players didn't have much power or say in where they were going. It's a little bit different now, isn't it? But people forget about the change then for a young player like yourself, going from small Swansea up to the big smoke, up to London. And all of a sudden you're in Manchester, you're in Liverpool, you're back to London.
Well, listen, you're moving all the time as a football player. It's the hardest thing on your families, you know. It's stress psychologically. It can, you know, hurt you. You're always leaving your families. You know, you become a bit part family. You know, your wife and children might be there. You might be somewhere else. You're trying to get up to see them. They're coming down. Yeah. And, you know, it is tough. That's why I always wanted to stay at a place where it was long term. Yeah. You know, but when managers keep changing, they have their own philosophies. Back in them days, they had their own philosophies. I think players now, you sign a 5-year contract, you're likely to be at that club for 5 years. You know, maybe 10 years. You know, we know David Silva's just left Manchester City after 10 years. What a wonderful career. That's what I had in my dreams. I wanted to stay at Leeds United for all my life. Yeah. And that was it. For the rest of my life, just play at Leeds United, no bother. Let me just play. Yeah. But it didn't materialise. And, you know, I didn't like going from club to club to club to club. But if managers, you know, needed the money, if the club needed the money, then the most expensive asset was going to be sold. Yeah. And for me, it was always going to a club and having a challenge and saying, all right, then I'll challenge myself then. It wasn't about the money, Ciaran. The money helps. It puts food on the table. Yeah. But it was about challenging myself with the crowds. Can I win the crowd over? Can I win that crowd over? That volatile crowd, can I win it over? And I certainly did at every club I went to. Yeah, just definitely. Because the style I played and the belief I had in myself.
Yeah, it's interesting because it reminds you that players, and especially back then, are definitely you're a commodity and an asset to the club. And the way the owners will think of is that player is worth X amount of money. And sometimes the new manager comes in, he doesn't fancy a player. He wants to play in a slightly different style of football. And all of a sudden then the player gets moved on in order to fund maybe more players coming in. So it's a constant cycle like that.
It's a merry-go-round.
Yeah.
It's a constant merry-go-round. 1 minute you're off, 1 minute you're off. 1 minute you're on, 1 minute you're off. 1 minute you're on, 1 minute you're off. It's like a yo-yo. Yeah. And like I said, it's not great for families. I don't care how much you get paid. Yeah. It's not great for families, but you know, nowadays it's a little bit easier for players now and for families because the contracts they get a 5 year, they're usually staying there for 5 years or 3 years. They're usually there. You know, you won't see them going to multiple clubs because the clubs I went to, they always needed the money. Yeah. You know, I went from Leeds United on a free transfer. Yeah. Swansea needed the money. Wimbledon was getting a lot of money. Man City needed the money.
Yeah.
Maybe I should never left Chelsea. It was great down at Chelsea. But I was travelling up and down to the north, and I thought, well, Everton come in closer to the family. And people say, why didn't the family move down? But when your children are settled in school and stuff like that, it's very difficult then. And you've got the friends and the families there. I couldn't be ripping them back down to London again. Yeah. You know, after only spending 3 years up there and then coming back, I'd already spent 5 years in London. So listen, that's life, and that's the way you think. You know, you can't have everything in life. You know, we did get paid, and we enjoyed it at the end of the day. Yeah.
Who just before finishing on the clubs, who was with Chelsea at that stage then? Who was the manager? Who was there? And
well, it was Glenn Hoddle was there, Ruud Gullit was there, Gianfranco Sol was there, Mark Hughes was there, Di Matteo was there, Roberto Di Matteo who won the Champions League with Chelsea was there, Dennis Wise was there, Vialli was there, Frank Leboeuf was there, Dan Petrescu was there, Johnny Spencer was there, Eddie Newton was there. Frank Sinclair was there. I was there. I mean, what a fantastic, and the lads was absolutely brilliant at Chelsea. Yeah. So fantastic, it was untrue. Yeah. So, you know, injuries, travelling again, plagued me in the later stages of my career, just little niggles which I couldn't get rid of, nothing major. Yeah. And then I decided to move up to Everton, and I got an injury round about just the start of, I went there, I think I went to 97 I went to...
97, 97
I went to Everton, and I picked up a little cartilage. And I was playing some fantastic football for a year, and I picked up a little cartilage injury, and I kept coming back too early, and it kept re-tearing. Then I was getting over all sorts. And I'm going to tell you something now. I'm going to tell everybody out there. I don't think the medical or the sports science was there then. Not like the lads have got now. I probably would have been back on that. You know, I probably would have been back on the field within probably 2 weeks.
I know.
I remember when I went to America, I torn a little bit of the same cartilage. I was back on the field within 3 weeks, but I spent 18 months out injured with the same injury. Yeah. I really do think the sports science of today is absolutely fantastic.
That's cool. Yeah, it helps a lot in the medical team. It was interesting because I was looking through the bio last night there, and I saw it was 1992, and you won the FAI Young Player of the Year. And
yes, I mean, I was 35.
I mean, it was a brilliant period, and actually, it was so. Did you tell us about the youth team coming through? So, did you play? Like, how did you end up playing with Ireland? And you know, a little bit about your family and stuff like that, and then obviously you graduated on into the senior squad.
Yeah, I mean, obviously my mother's from Sligo, Tubbercurry, you know, a little town out there just down the edge of Sligo, you know, beautiful little part of the world, you know. So that's where I spent most of my time when I was younger. Absolutely fantastic, you know, going on holidays, and obviously, you know, my mother moved over to England for job reasons, and we grew up in Salford, and we used to travel over every holiday. We travelled back over to Ireland. So we had big families over there, you know. You know, and it was great, you know. And I always say, I talk different, but my blood runs green, and you can't take that away from me anymore. So I'm okay with that. Yeah. They can talk about my voice and say, oh, he's got an English voice, but when I turn around and say to people in Ireland, but my blood's green.
I know.
What can they say?
Exactly.
They can't say a lot, can they? Exactly. So at the end of the day,
I was going to say, Terry, I've got a young little boy, a 7.5-week-old little chap here, and he mixed heritage. So his mum is Sri Lankan, born in England, and I'm the same. I'm bringing him out to the garden. I'm telling him about the Irish spuds we're growing and the vegetable stuff, and keeping that bit of Irishness there.
At least you're not taking him down to the bog to dig that bog, are you? That turf. You won't be taking him down there. That's how I spent my holidays.
That's tough.
That's how I spent with my holidays, with that 2-foot spade. That's why. I remember that. Don't worry about that.
That's it.
But no, I think it was great. Yeah, growing up and being part of the Irish youth team was great. You know, people like Niall Quinn was there, Dennis Irwin was there. John Sheridan was just in there. There was an array of talent, coming through the Irish youth team, who went on to play for, the Nolan brothers. They went on to play for, it was West Ham. They played for West Ham. Yeah. Obviously, Big Niall Quinn, he was playing for Arsenal then, and obviously he went on. Dennis Irwin, what Dennis did, and John Sheridan, people like that. So it was fantastic growing up, and that was it. I'm thinking, youth team. What's my next progression? To 21s. What's my next progression? The B team. The B team? They used to have a B team then.
I know.
Remember
I remember.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's many B team caps about, but I've got one of them anyway.
Cool.
And then progressing into the first team, but the first team come awful late for me. Yeah. Don't forget, I'd been playing for Leeds. I'd been playing for Wimbledon for 5 years. Don't forget, I played, like we said, the FA Cup.
FA Cup final,
and then, and then 4 years later, well, it was 91, 3.5 years later, 91. Obviously, I made my debut against Hungary away. Yeah. And you know the story was, I got 3 phone calls. I put the phone down 3 or 4 times on Morris setup because I thought it was Vinnie Jones and Dennis Wise winding me up. And the 4th call was, Mr. Phelan, if you put the phone down now, you're never going to play for Ireland. This is Morris Setters now. It's not Dennis Wise. It's not Vinnie Jones. It's not John Fashanu. Please take the call and get yourself on a plane the next day.
Yeah, good.
Went over. Big Jack was there. God bless him. Big Jack was there. That big grin and his cap on. He said, "Wee man, come in here." And I looked around the tables and I'm thinking, wow.
Yeah.
Don't forget, I was playing for Wimbledon then. And I'm looking on the table. John Aldridge, Ray Houghton, Paul McGrath, Mick McCarthy, Packy Bonner, Ronnie Whelan, and
a young Roy Keane.
I'm going on, Roy Keane, and I'm going on, and there's John Sheridan and Dennis who I played with at Leeds, and I'm thinking, wow. Jeez. I'm thinking, absolutely wow. I'm out of my depth here. Remember Mick McCarthy coming up to me, putting his arm around me and going, "Wee man, you come in here, we'll look after you." And that was it. And I remember before the game, I got a late shout before the game. And then Mick come up to me again and said, "Just go out there and play how you normally play. I'll be beside you. I'll be talking to you. Packy Bonu's the same. I'll be talking to you. Just don't worry about anything. It's new for you." And I don't think I really looked back from then. And I really enjoyed playing for me. I really enjoyed playing for my country. Really enjoyed it. Really did enjoy it. Every moment.
I think that's the thing about that team at that period was they were brilliant players, and you have to think back that we had numerous players playing for Arsenal, Liverpool, Man United, top teams, Everton, but also there were so many leaders on that team. Even thinking about that team now, I'm thinking, Jesus, the players that you called out there, Ronnie Whelan and Packy and Carty and Townsend and Keane and
I forgot Townsend.
Sorry, McGrath, Paul McGrath. Paul McGrath.
Big Paul McGrath will always get a mention. But and you look at Dave O'Leary was in there when I was Kevin Moran.
Jesus,
Let's be honest. Kevin Sheedy. Sheedy was there when I was there. Steve Staunton. You can go on and on. But I'm getting goose pimples. These all played for the top teams and won trophies. And you sat there and I'm thinking, Wimbledon, am I made that fair? No, I'm not, because they played it exactly the same way. If I can just show Jack I can be energetic and run up and down and get that ball and close down and get in the faces and be that horrible little fullback, I'm happy. And to be fair, that's what really happened, Ciaran.
Do you know, it was interesting last night because my brother Mark, he listens to all the different episodes. He said to me, ask Terry, and he obviously would have followed our time in Kerala as well in India. And he said, ask Terry about like the modern game now, the Jurgen Klopp, the Pep Guardiola, all of these teams are all about the press. The press, the counter press, the press. And everyone is like, Jesus, the press together, this is amazing. And he said, ask Terry about Jack Charlton used to put him under pressure.
I'll send you a clip of the 1988 FA Cup final, and we had one of the best coaches in the world, Don Howe. Talk about pressing. We pressed the living daylights out of teams. So all this counter press, this pressing now, I don't know where it's come from, because I was doing it 30 odd years ago, Ciaran. And I was doing it hard, and I was doing it for 90 minutes. And don't forget, back in them days, you only had one sub. And you was playing multiple games and games and games and games. There's none of this rotation policy going on. Yeah, I know the games are, the game's faster now. But when we talk about that, pressing, we pressed the living daylights out of teams. Yeah. It was like pressing an orange to get juice out of it, and more. You press an orange, come on, get that juice. That's what we used to do. So when I won't say I I'll say I dislike. I dislike when fullbacks don't close the wingers down and they stand off them and let them cross them balls in. Yeah. If we did that at Wimbledon or with big Jack Charlton, it absolutely lambasted at half time. Yeah. What you doing? Don't let him cross the ball. You let him cross the ball, it's goals. So we pressed all over. I'll send you a clip. 1988. I'll show you the clip, and you can bring it into when you study and say, show you pressing, and I'll show you where I am pressing the ball. Yeah, you'll see where I am pressing the ball. So I'll send you a clip. Yeah, do. Do you think that Ireland team could have played better football in possession then? Because if you named out all those like brilliant players who are playing at top teams, could we have pressed and kept possession more and played on the ground? Or how like looking back now, what do you think? Yeah, I think we could have. I think listen, I've just named the players there. You've named the players there. Of course, we could have. There was no doubt about that. But Jack had his philosophy. He didn't want no messing about. Yeah. He didn't really have time, to tell us about, we want to play like this, we want to play like that. It was like, no, get it in, get it at him, put it up him, get into him, rackle him, and let's get the ball and then put it back in again. Said, what's the point of playing round the back and round the back and round the back and giving teams a rest? He didn't want to give the opposition a rest. Yeah, let's get at them. Let's get in the faces. Let them put them under pressure. Put him under pressure. And that's what it was. That was your job. Yeah. And listen, hang on a minute. Success. 1988, 1990, 94. Missed just out in the playoffs, 92. Missed out in the playoffs in 96. Come on then. Yeah, no, true. We can't be greedy, can we?
Yeah. I remember you told me a funny story over in India about you arrived over to America for a training camp before World Cup '94, and you were getting ready that, right, this is going to be tough and we're going to be training and whatever. And Jack Charlton, more setters, arrived into the dressing room on the first day, or the hotel, with big cases, loads of beer, and said, lads, there you go. We'll see you in 2 or 3 days' time to work hard.
Well, I mean, we'd got over there. Obviously, we'd had a few scoops on the way over there, the lads, and a few scoops. I think it was the longest trip of my life, and some of the lads was brilliant, absolutely. John Aldridge. How about Aldridge? We missed John Aldridge out. Yeah, we missed John Aldridge out. Sorry, John. You watched. Sorry about that, pal. But no, when we got over, and Jack says, right, in the corner there's kegs of Guinness. Get it finished, because that's your lot. That's it then. That's it. So we arrived, and that was it. And then we just started training. So it was, it was a fantastic time, and I really enjoyed it. And I take my hat off to Big Jack for giving me the chance, and his family for giving me the chance, because I don't think without playing in that Ireland team, you wouldn't have probably been the player we are now, or that personality we are now. And Big Jack gave us that personality. And what he said to us, always be humble, lads. Always be humble, and just enjoy your football. The greatest thing for me, if anybody was struggling at the club and he went over to Ireland, first thing Jack would get you, sit you down and say, come and sit next to me. You sit down with his lovely wife and his sons, and he says, what's going on? What's going on at the club? They don't know what they're doing. Come here, play here and enjoy yourself. That was Jack. Jack was brilliant for doing that. If you was down in the dumps, he'd pick you up and he'd make you feel 10 foot tall. Yeah, was that what he was great at? I mean, his personality and just how, like, it looked like all you lads wanted to play for him and do well for the country and the team, but also for Jack. Yeah, Jack was brilliant. That's what he was all about. If you come into the Ireland team, this is what we want of you. It's simplicity. Yeah. It's not hard. If you don't do it, you're not playing. you know, and he was very loyal to players, Jack. He was very very loyal to players. And if you didn't do your job, you was out. You had no messing about. You got somebody else in.
Yeah.
But I think his man management skills was brilliant, you know. And I keep saying on the training ground, he'd come on the training ground. He might have been doing an interview, and he'd run on the field in his flat cap, his big blue overcoat, his grey trousers, black shoes, and he's get the ball up to me. No, that's no good. No, get it up to me in the chest. And the balls would be hitting him on the chest, and he'd have like ball marks all over his blue coat, and he'd be going back in doing it. He'd be going back on the side of the field doing an interview, ball marks all over it. Absolutely brilliant. And that's what made him the way he was. That was big Jack Charlton for you.
Yeah. My mother has always been a fan of Big Jack, and was very, very sad a few weeks ago. And there was a real nostalgia throughout the whole country in Ireland and in England when Jack Charlton passed. And it kind of brought back a lot of brilliant memories. People start watching clips from World Cup 90 and 94, and it was a
I think it was it was great. It was an amazing part of your career. I think I played 9.5 years, 10 years in the Ireland team. I think if I wouldn't have got injured at that present time when I was at Everton, I probably would have played a lot more, had a lot more caps. But listen, I wasn't bothered. 1 cap or 42 caps. Yeah. Playing for your country at the highest level, playing in the World Cup, playing in multiple countries was absolutely fantastic. And maybe one day I'll end up back in Ireland, and I'll go into a little club, and I'm not interested in working with first teams. Yeah. I'll work with the youth teams, because they want to see ex-players like me and who've travelled the world. I don't mind putting myself down there with the younger students, because then that may empower them to do what I did. Yeah. You know? Yeah. I'm not bothered about first teams and being this, super coach. Yeah. I'm happy just being humble on the training ground. And maybe one day, when I decide, I'll maybe come back to Ireland.
Yeah, I'd say you get plenty of offers. That's for sure. When you go back,
it's not about offers. It's just about going back to a place where all my family was from, and a place where I really enjoyed. And I haven't been back an awful lot, because obviously I've been travelling here, there, and everywhere. Yeah. So I believe one day I'll probably end up back in Ireland.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Last couple of things, Terry. It's a famous picture of Ray Houghton's goal against Italy in the Giant Stadium, and I remember that game, and geez, what an event it was, and to beat the Italians. I mean, and that picture of after Houghton scoring, and it's like you're grabbing him, and you're serious looking, and it was. I'm just interested what was going through your head in that moment and everything.
Oof. Wow, I get emotional. Yeah, because it was, when we talk about, I didn't win a lot of trophies, but the trophies that I won was very special. The '88 final was a special trophy. My cupboard's not laid with championships. I won a championship at Fulham, fantastic, and that. My caps are very special, but my World Cup cap is absolutely, the pinnacle of any boy's career. And when you're watching your first World Cup in 1978 in Argentina, and you're sitting at that little black and white telly, you don't know who's playing, because they all look the same. The colours look all the same. So you're thinking, I want to play there. I can play there. I know I can play there. Yeah, and it's going to happen. And then when I went out on that Giant Stadium, I'm thinking, wow, we have arrived here. No matter what happens in the game, my dreams come true. Yeah. And I thank the Lord for giving me everything he gave me. Whether I was meant to be on this earth to play football, I don't know. A million other players have done a lot more than me. And I respect that. But for me, when Ray Houghton scored that goal against that Italian side, who we'd watched on the Sundays, the Gazzetta show on them Sundays. That was it called, the Gazzetta, on the Sundays. And you're looking around the pitch and you're thinking, hang on a minute, it can't get no better than this. But don't forget, we'd already played against them in US tournaments, in '92 and that. And I'm thinking, whew, here we go. And there's 98,000 fans there, and the stadium's just going up and up and up. Yeah, you're thinking, wow. And when that goal went in, it was just, I get goosebumps. It was just, you know what? Is somebody going to wake me up? Is somebody going to pinch me? Am I still in a dream? Yeah. I'm still dreaming as that young boy. And that's why I had no emotion. That's why my face was the way it was. It was as if I'd seen a ghost, or it wasn't really happening. And my mum's going to come in and go, Terry, come on, you got to go to school now. You know, and you're in the middle of that dream and you think, oh, Christ, let's get to the end to it. That's how I felt. Yeah. And that's how I felt. And it was, I've got 3 reels of that. And I said I'd post the 3 reels of them. And I don't think anybody else has got them, but I've got the 3 reels of that goal, and I should send him to Razor. I don't think he's got them. He may probably have them now, but for me, it's an iconic picture.
It is,
and it'll always be one. So it was just like a dream come true, and dreams do. You know, people say dreams don't come true. They do come true if you're willing to work and all. They do come true, and you do need a little bit of luck in football. But when you're playing, for any student out there, boy, girl, youth team or first team, just enjoy it. Enjoy every moment of it. Enjoy training. Don't bitch and moan about training. The rain, the snow. Oh, it's too hard. Oh, we're running again. Oh, the training's boring. Just go out there, take heed, and train like you've never trained before, and enjoy it, because it doesn't last long. It doesn't last long. I was just going to say, I think, like, due to injury and everything, you didn't reach 100 caps for Ireland or whatever, but I think you had that kind of legendary status, like, amongst all my friends and family and work colleagues, because I think that shone through, whereby it looked like you really enjoyed your career, and you were always willing to work hard to get up and down that line. No nonsense, like play ball, like a modern, as they say, modern fullback who can defend and play ball, but just get on with the game, work hard, enjoy it, and I think that really shone through. Well, that's what it's all about, isn't it? You know, it's no use. Yeah, we have a little moan up every now and again. Everybody has a moan up. Everybody feels in the dumps, you know. But you know, when it's, I don't know how they go on now with this rotation policy. I was built to be a football player. I don't want to sit out for 2 or 3 games and then come in. How can you get momentum? I want to play every game. You know, these players now with what they've got, the sports science and this and that, should be playing every game. You know, look at Klopp, what Klopp's done at Liverpool. Very, very, very rarely changes his formation.
It's true.
For anybody. Very, very. When Klopp went first into Liverpool, he struggled for the first year because he had hamstring injuries and this and that. He got his sports science right, fantastic. And I do believe a lot of players say, when they're coming in the early days, but they don't know what they're on about. Of course they know what they're on about, because they're educated people, so they do know what they're on about. And my son, he's doing it. He's going down that same line now, and he's playing Connor. He's going down the sports science route. He's playing and all. He's up in Newcastle. And for me, like I said earlier on, if I would have had the proper treatment and guys like yourself around, I probably would have played a lot longer. I probably would have been still playing at 52 years of age.
I don't doubt it.
No, it was brilliant. And what you've got to do, you've got to hold your hand up and say, you know, like I said, every game meant something to me. It meant something in the way of the fans are paying the money. So, and I'm not boasting here. I'm being very down to earth. The fans are paying the money, so I have to give them something back. Now, that means me running up and down that line all day long, you know, and giving sweat, blood and tears. That's what I tried to do. And I was just a down-to-earth lad who just enjoyed a laugh, a joke, and playing football.
Yeah, exactly. Simple. Exactly. I think that's a brilliant attitude, Terry. Terry, I'll leave you go. You've given us loads of time, and I think
thank you very much.
Will really enjoy watching that and listening to that. And it's been great. It's been 5 years since we chatted kind of in person. We're always on Instagram back every week. But great times.
Say hi to the family to me.
I will.
Say hi to all them folks back in Ireland, and from our hearts of India, we love you all, and hopefully one day I'll see you again. So thank you very much, Ciaran.
Brilliant. Thank you, Terry. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good man. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye. So that was the great Terry Phelan, who was chatting to us for the last hour and a half. I had intended on doing an hour episode, but of course with Terry, we had so much to talk about in terms of India and Ireland and football in general, and his career, his brilliant career, that obviously it went well over the hour, but really enjoyed that. I think people will see how passionate Terry is about football and sport, working with kids, traveling in India and around the world, New Zealand, America he played in also, and also his love for Ireland and how much he enjoyed playing for his country, and of course World Cup '94. So that was brilliant, and I really enjoyed personally just catching up with Terry as well. Okay, loads of stuff over on the website, deelysportscience.com. Head over there. We've got a hurling section now. The sports science, performance analysis is growing all the time. We have a new scheme starting up, a referral scheme for our members as well. Check out the Twitter page and the WhatsApp group for information about that. Thanks as always to our sponsor, ript.app. So that's rypt.app. Cormac and the lads there have been brilliant supporters of us throughout this whole period. We've reached 20 episodes. So we said we'd do a special one this week with Terry. The support we've had and the response from people and listeners has been overwhelming. So that's been brilliant. So remember, if you go over to the website, you'll see a link to Ript, and you get 2 months free access to their services. It's a software package that links you from the coach, the S&C coach, to your athletes, online training you can do, and they upload the training videos, the exercises they do on a daily basis, and programming. It's a fantastic service. We've used it. I've used it myself. And also you can monitor the training load in terms of their RPE and wellness questionnaire. And I think they're a company that are really growing. They're already working with Kerry GA, Swim Ireland, ourselves, and loads more. So it's a company to keep an eye out for. That's ript.app. And thanks very much for the lads' support as always. Okay, catch you next week.